Welcome back to China Gateway, the show where we dive deep into how China's ideas and industries are shaping the world, really beyond the headlines.
And today, we are taking you straight to Brazil because something just happened there. It really encapsulates this massive, almost complex shift in global manufacturing, tech, and, partnership across borders.
Yeah, our mission today is pretty simple, actually. We want to figure out why this specific moment is making governments, CEOs, and especially the traditional global auto industry really sit up and pay super close attention.
Exactly. Because what we're talking about is BYD, China's, undisputed electric vehicle giant. They just rolled their 14 millionth new energy vehicle off the line. 14 million.
Which is staggering in itself.
Right. But the really surprising part, it didn't happen in Shenzhen or Shanghai. Nope. It happened like 12,000 miles away in Bahia, Brazil.
That moment.
Yeah.
October 9th in Bahia.
Yeah.
It was electric. I mean, literally and figuratively.
It truly was super high profile. This wasn't some, quiet little corporate ribbon cutting. You have Brazilian President Lula there.
Right.
The vice president, the Chinese ambassador, the Bahia governor, and of course, BYD founder Wang Chuanfu himself.
And think about the symbolism there. President Lula, the president of Brazil, himself a former factory worker,
Yeah.
he personally received the keys to this vehicle as it slowly rolled off the production line. That image, the leader of a major South American power celebrating a Chinese EV built by Brazilians on Brazilian soil.
Huh.
Wow, that picture went global instantly.
And Lula's speech, that really became the narrative core of the whole day, didn't it?
Absolutely.
He spoke so passionately, said BYD's arrival filled him with pride and, crucially, brought dignity back to the people of Bahia. Why that word? Why dignity?
Well, you really have to understand the context of Brazil's recent economic journey. Lula felt the nation had gone through this period of, pretty severe deindustrialization.
Right.
They were kind of comfortable, maybe too comfortable, just relying heavily on exporting raw commodities. Iron ore, soybeans, oil.
The classic resource economy trap, right? The big mining nation, the agricultural giant, but losing that skilled manufacturing base.
Precisely. And that specific factory site, the one BYD took over, that had been Ford's home for ages.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize it was the Ford site.
Yeah, before the American giant pulled out completely. Shut down production, displaced thousands of workers. I mean, when a global player leaves like that, it sends a really tough message. Like, the workers are disposable, the nation's dependent.
Okay, so it wasn't just about replacing lost jobs then. When BYD came in, they weren't just promising basic assembly work. What felt so different?
That's the key. They didn't just bring an assembly line, they brought the entire EV supply chain. They set up a whole manufacturing complex.
The whole thing.
Yeah, producing batteries, chassis, and the final vehicles.
Okay.
So Brazil was suddenly manufacturing complex, high-tech goods again. For Lula, this wasn't just, another foreign investment. It felt like a major political win, a return of national dignity, proof that Brazil could be a manufacturing hub for the future, not just a resource pit.
It really is the ultimate sign of commitment, isn't it? It shows the country can be more than just a source of raw materials.
And this connects directly to BYD's whole philosophy for going global. They call it Zagen.
Zagen.
Yeah, it means planting roots. Wang Chuanfu actually mentioned, BYD's been operating in Brazil for 11 years already. They see themselves as long-term partners.
Okay, so that's the direct opposite of that extraction model we were just talking about.
Exactly.
Where maybe some companies go into markets like Brazil or, say, Indonesia, and they're really focused on making quick money, right? Exporting stuff, maximizing margins, minimizing local ties.
Right, take the resources, sell the finished product somewhere else. BYD, though, is focusing on embedding. They're translating China's really sophisticated new energy tech and know-how directly into local production power. They're selling the ability to make the product right there, generating those high-skill jobs locally.
And a company has really embedded itself, earned that local trust when the local government literally renames the street outside your factory after you.
Wait, what? They renamed the street? Seriously?
They did. The local government in Bahia renamed the road leading to the factory BYD Avenue.
That's wild.
And what's really fascinating is this is actually the third street globally named after BYD.
Third. Where are the others?
One in the US, one in Thailand. So now you have Asia, North America, South America. It's this undeniable long-term global footprint. And it's built on, trust.
Okay, so if you're an entrepreneur listening to this, maybe someone interested in global trade, this Zagen idea, it's kind of a blueprint, isn't it? Focus on localization, build resilient supply chains, really earn that community acceptance. Don't go in thinking extraction, go in thinking building.
And that long-term vision, that commitment, that's surely why they managed to hit that absolutely staggering 14 million vehicle milestone first.
That's the hard number right there. BYD is the first global NEV maker to hit 14 million units, period.
It just shows the gap, doesn't it? I mean, while some of their big competitors, let's not name names, are still, talking about intelligent transformation, focusing a lot on software and future promises, BYD is just doing it. They're building and opening these massive integrated factories on the other side of the planet. They're executing.
And this isn't just a South America story, is it?
Yeah.
I mean, look at markets that have traditionally been the absolute hardest for any non-Western automaker to even get a foot in the door.
Right. Look at the UK. Reports are showing BYD sales surged over 800% year over year, like from around 1,000 units to over 11,000.
800%.
Yeah. And think about the UK market. For decades, it was German luxury, or more recently, Tesla's kind of novelty appeal. Now, British buyers are actively demanding Chinese cars.
Wow.
Based on performance, based on value.
Or, okay, take the ultimate test of industrial pride, Germany, the actual birthplace of the automobile. In September alone, BYD sold, 3,255 units there? That's a 225% increase year over year. The proud German car buyer. They're having to accept that these Chinese EVs are fast, they're safe, and maybe most importantly, they're affordable.
The perception shift is what really gets me. Remember just 5, maybe 6 years ago, Western media often kind of mocked Chinese cars, right? Called them cheap replacements or highlighted crash test issues.
Right, yeah.
Now the language is completely flipped. You hear terms like price killers, category killers, new energy runners. That vocabulary shift alone, it signals a total overhaul in perceived quality and status. It's fundamental.
And the reason BYD is managing to pull this off globally, letting them embed in Brazil while, like you said, crushing sales in Germany, it comes down to pure underlying tech strength.
Yeah.
That's what we sometimes call the killer move, vertical integration.
Okay, let's unpack that properly, especially for listeners who are maybe more tech curious. Vertical integration. It sounds a bit like a dry business school term. How does it actually translate into real advantages? For the person buying the car or for the production line down in Bahia?
Okay, so basically it means they make everything important internally. While their competitors are maybe juggling 5, 10 different suppliers for key components, BYD does it all in-house. We're talking the battery, the motor, the critical electric control systems, the whole shebang.
And that level of internal control, it gives them these huge cost advantages, obviously, but maybe even more importantly, it gives them manufacturing insulation, like protection from shocks.
Exactly. Let's look at the tech specifics. Take the Blade battery. Why is that such a big deal? Well, it pretty much solves the safety concerns like thermal runaway, fires that have unfortunately plagued some other EVs. It's literally a killer feature, safety-wise. Then you got their DMI super hybrid system. This isn't just a little tweak. It's a direct challenge to traditional hybrids, like Toyota's, on fuel economy. That makes them incredibly appealing in markets like Brazil, where running costs really matter.
So these aren't just fancy names, they're foundational technologies that BYD actually owns outright. What about on the manufacturing side itself? You mentioned the E-Platform 3.0.
Right, the E-Platform 3.0. Think of it like the architectural blueprint for their cars. It drives down costs across the board because it makes components highly integrated, more modular. And they use something called CTP-CTB integration.
CTP-CTB.
Cell to pack or cell to body. It means the battery cells themselves are integrated directly into the vehicle's structure. This improves the car's strength while also saving space and weight. It's really clever engineering.
So putting it all together, while competitor X might suddenly face a production halt because they can't get enough chips, or there's a shortage of some specific raw material for batteries, BYD is largely insulated from those shocks. Why? Because they control the entire flow, from the mine to the finished car, pretty much. That depth gives them systemic resilience. They're stable.
Exactly. This isn't just about one brilliant invention. It's a systemic advantage. Some analysts are even calling it a dimension reduction attack. It sounds dramatic, but it means they can offer lower prices, higher performance, and better safety, all at the same time, because they own and coordinate the whole technology stack, from the silicon chip right up to the final paint job.
And we really need to stress, this is bigger than just BYD the company, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. BYD's ability to even do this level of vertical integration and global execution, It's built on the incredible strength and, frankly, density of China's entire manufacturing ecosystem. We're talking coordinated supply chains from upstream raw materials processing all the way to downstream assembly, all supported by really long-term industrial planning that goes back decades. This is national-level capacity being leveraged globally.
Okay, let's circle back then to Lula's quote about dignity, because this feels like where the story really connects all the dots. Lula thought the BYD factory restored dignity to the Brazilian workers. But doesn't this also reflect a huge shift in China's own manufacturing identity?
It absolutely does. It's
Yeah.
two sides of the same coin. China is very consciously shifting away from just being the world's factory making, cheap goods. The goal now is to be an innovation powerhouse making future goods.
Right.
And the real competition in global trade today, it isn't just about tariffs or subsidies anymore. Fundamentally, it's becoming an industrial efficiency war.
It's fascinating when you frame it like that. While some other nations are maybe stuck debating trade policy or figuring out protectionist measures, China is just building, innovating, manufacturing better, more integrated systems. BYD's strategy is the long game. It's clearly not just about selling cars today, it's about establishing the standards for the whole future ecosystem, energy, networks, transportation.
So the success we're seeing in Brazil, that dignity Lula spoke of for the Brazilian worker, making a high-tech product, it's sort of mirrored by China's own rising industrial dignity on the world stage.
Yeah.
From imitator to innovator.
Precisely. And ultimately, this success story, it belongs to more than just the corporations or the governments. It belongs to the hardworking people, the engineers who spent years patiently developing these incredibly complex systems, the workers on the assembly lines, whether they're in Bahia or Shenzhen, and it belongs to nations like Brazil that are trying to move from economic dependence towards genuine creation and self-sufficiency.
So thinking about all this, what does it mean for you listening right now? And for the global auto market, considering the performance, the price point, this commitment to localization, would you drive a Chinese EV built by local workers in Brazil?
Or maybe take a step back. If you're an entrepreneur, if you're thinking about global business, would you actually invest in a full local factory, a supply chain partnership model like BYD's, if you had the chance? That seems like the really big strategic question for the future of global business.
We genuinely want to know what you think. Let us know down in the comments. Seriously, we read them all and are really curious about your take on this massive shift. And hey, if you happen to be in global trade or dealing with supply chain management, comment SUPLY below. We'll send you our China Gateway Sourcing Starter Kit.
Yeah, and if you're just curious about doing business in China or maybe partnering with Chinese manufacturers who are expanding globally with this whole planting roots mindset we talked about, just comment market and we'll reach out.
We really want to hear your perspective on this. Well, this unprecedented global realignment that's happening.
Thanks so much for joining us here on China Gateway, the show where China meets the world, one story at a time. Don't forget to subscribe and definitely share your thoughts below.